Thank you for joining us for this information session. Tonight, we will be discussing the online and part-time graduate programs in applied biomedical engineering offered through the Whiting School of Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. We have a great panel for you this evening. My name is Cheryl Williams, and I am the Recruitment and Marketing Specialist for the Whiting School of Engineering. With me tonight is Dr. Eileen Haas. Eileen is the chair of the Applied Biomedical Engineering program. She has been teaching for the program since its inception in 1993 and teaches a number of courses, including Systems Bioengineering Lab and Independent Study 1 and 2. She is also the interim director for Johns Hopkins' full-time undergraduate program in biomedical engineering. Eileen is an alum of the Whiting School, having completed her MS in electrical engineering, her PhD in biomedical engineering, and a postdoctoral fellowship, all at Johns Hopkins. Here with us tonight to answer your questions is Dr. Brock Wester. Brock is the Vice Chair of Applied Biomedical Engineering. He is also a member of the senior professional staff at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, where he works as a project manager and section supervisor for the applied neuroscience area. He has worked in a number of areas related to brain-computer interfacing and prosthetics, including clinical study design and evaluation, systems integration, software controls and virtual environment development, and exploring new user interface and prosthetic control modalities. He teaches a number of courses for our program, including Independent Study 1 and 2. Brock holds a joint PhD in biomedical engineering from Georgia Tech and Emory University. Dr. Ariel Drummond will be discussing with you this evening information related to our program, such as its admissions requirements and degree structure. She completed her PhD in biomedical engineering from Carnegie Mellon University, where she focused on the development of a surgical planning tool for the implantation of pediatric ventricular assist devices. Since then, she has worked for a large medical device company as well as a startup, and currently she is a lead scientific reviewer at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. She joined our faculty in 2014. Dr. Anil Mabate will be sharing with you information related to available courses and the program's optional mentored research project. Anil earned his PhD in physics from the University of Pune, India. Since then, he has explored multiple interdisciplinary areas of biomedical engineering, including intracardiac ECG-based markers of myocardial infarction. He completed a fellowship in Johns Hopkins Neuroengineering Laboratory, where his research included the development of biosignals-based markers of nervous system injuries, such as injury to the spinal cord and cardiac arrest-induced brain injury, and the consequential critical care and therapy. He is a member of our faculty and lecturer for the past 4 years and teaches a number of courses, including Principles of Medical Instrumentation and Devices, Principles of Medical Imaging, and Independent Study 1 and 2. Completing our panel this evening is James Brickner. James is a student in the Applied Biomedical Engineering program and is here to speak to you about his experiences as a student. For tonight's presentation, we'll start off with an introduction to Johns Hopkins Engineering. Next, Ariel and Anil will discuss with you our online and part-time degree programs in applied biomedical engineering. Then we'll review some helpful information on tuition and payment options, talk about next steps and important dates, and we'll end with a live question and answer session. If you have any questions at any point in the presentation, please type them into the questions tab on the control panel. If you are joining us on a cell phone or a tablet, simply select the question mark to access the question section. We'll address all questions at the end of the presentation. So why study engineering at Johns Hopkins University? Johns Hopkins University was founded in 1876 as the nation's first research university. The School of Engineering opened its doors in 1913, And in 1915, it began offering part-time engineering coursework as night classes for technical workers. Since then, we've grown to offer more than 20 master's programs that can be completed part-time. 16 of these programs can be completed entirely online. Our programs are designed by people who thoroughly understand your industry. We like to say that our programs are for engineers by engineers. Our faculty are all expert and working engineers, and our faculty and instructional designers construct new and update existing coursework every year so that it includes the most up-to-date information. In addition to our part-time programs, the Whiting School of Engineering has over 25 research centers and institutes, including a strong partnership with the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland. It also offers full-time bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs. Our online and part-time programs are led by respected senior engineers from our Applied Physics Laboratory and faculty from our full-time programs. We are ranked in the top 25 best online graduate engineering programs by U.S. News and World Report. And of all the schools that are included in these rankings, we have the largest online part-time student population. So not only will you have lots of fellow students going through a similar learning experience, but these rankings really speak to the quality of our programs regardless of our size, and our school is experienced and well-equipped to help you navigate graduate education as an online student. The degree that you earn studying with us part-time is of the same quality as our full-time degree programs. Your diploma will not say online or part-time. You are eligible and highly encouraged to participate in commencement, and as a graduate, you will be one of more than 28,000 Whiting School alumni and will join our esteemed international alumni community. So that is an overview of who we are and the value of our programs. Now Ariel is going to talk to you more about our programs in applied biomedical engineering. Ariel?
Great. So thanks, Cheryl. And again, welcome to this info session for Applied Biomedical Engineering, ABE for short. I am Ariel Drummond, and I'm representing the faculty of ABE, and I would like to tell you a little bit about the program as well as answer any of your questions. So let us spend some time on the program now. Modern biomedical engineering is a diverse field with specialties ranging from robotics, neuroprosthetics, brain-computer interface, medical instrumentation, tissue engineering, imaging, micro-nano electronics, mathematical modeling, and of course, signal processing. The field is projected to show enormous job growth through this decade and beyond. So opportunities are expanding rapidly across all of these specialties. At ABE, we aim to train you for these opportunities through rigorous coursework as well as interactions and networking with our expert faculty. The ABE faculty comes from our BME department, ranked #1 in the country for many years now, and also from the renowned Applied Physics Laboratory, APL, and a diverse range of topmost local biomedical or engineering industries. In our program, you can apply for a master's degree in biomedical engineering or a postmaster's certificate. Tonight, we'll focus on the master's degree. In our master's program, you will be able to choose one of the 3 focus areas: medical instrumentation, medical imaging, or translational tissue engineering. In our core and elective courses focusing on each of these, you'll find opportunities to acquire fundamental skill sets, application-driven projects through homeworks, and hands-on labs. And I'll tell you a little bit about that later on in the presentation. The eligibility for applying for our program is simple. The GRE is not required. However, you will need to hold a bachelor's degree or higher in a science or engineering field, which can include previous undergraduate level coursework in fields like math, physics, chemistry, biology, or any branch of engineering. Recently, we have had several students enroll in the program with medical degrees who have taken the required prerequisites prior to starting the ABE program. We admit students with a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and we also have listed the prerequisite coursework for admission into the program here. So who are our students? Well, the average age of our ABE students is 29.4, and 73% live outside of the state of Maryland. So with that said, 100% of our students have taken online courses, and 83% of our ABE students are employed, and we have listed a few of their employers here on the slide. So this is a 10-course degree that needs to be completed in a maximum of 5 years. Of the 10 total courses, 5 are required core courses, which include a laboratory course and a focus area course. The other 5 are selected by the students from a range of electives. Upon entering our program, you are assigned an advisor to help you design your personalized curriculum, that is to select an appropriate focus area and match the electives to your focus area and other academic interests. It is important to note here that you may also take electives from outside of the ABE program. For example, if you are particularly interested in computational methods, we may recommend a course in our computer science division at EP called Computational Drug Discovery and Development. Or if you have an interest in cell biology, we might recommend courses from the biology department in cancer biology or clinical and molecular diagnostics. As part of the electives, you may also enroll in up to 2 semesters of a mentored research project aligned with your focus area. This can be done either within the JHU system or elsewhere. We will talk briefly about that later in the session. As mentioned, we have 3 focus areas for the ABE program. They are instrumentation, imaging, and translational tissue engineering. So let's step through some of the examples on how you may complete the ABE program with the 3 different focus areas. I should quickly add that Dr. Haas, Dr. Wester, and Dr. Mabate would serve as your personal advisors when selecting the appropriate coursework. Now, there are a number of pathways to reach your goal of 10 courses. As you see, the examples here, or the example here, is one for a student interested in instrumentation as their focus area. The details of each are accessible on the individual course homepage at ep.jhu.edu. The next example pathway to graduation for students interested in imaging is shown on the next slide. The pathway includes the core courses, the focus area course, as well as some examples of electives. The final example pathway to graduation for students interested in translational tissue engineering is shown on the next slide. Again, this is an example pathway that includes core courses, as you can see here at the top, the focus area course, as well as some examples of electives. Beyond the ABE courses, let me quickly display courses available for you from the wider JHU system, the BME department, and the School of Medicine. Most of these are face-to-face courses, although some have now moved online. I should also mention here that based on your incoming coursework, you may be able to place out of the core requirements. However, this will not reduce your total degree requirements of 10 courses. You would work with your advisor to replace the opted out courses with more advanced or supplemental coursework in your focus area. And the last but important point to emphasize here is a minimum of 4 600 or 600 plus level courses are required to fulfill your degree requirements. So now let's dig a little deeper into the core requirements with 5 courses. Here are the first 4 core courses required for the master's degree. Regardless of focus area, all students must complete these 4 courses. 2 courses in physiology. These are your fundamental human body courses covering functions of organ systems with quantitative analyses, and 1 course in applied math. This includes solving ordinary differential equations and partial differential equations, as well as other complex analysis related to biomedical engineering problems. The fourth required course is a hybrid online on-site lab course that operates over 2 separate 3-day weekends in the summer, each preceded by a period of 3 weeks with online preparatory learning. This is where you gain the hands-on practice I was telling you about earlier. This is not your only opportunity to take a lab course, but it's the only required lab course for the degree. I will talk more about this a little later. The fifth and final required course depends on your focus area. As you can see on this slide, if you are in the imaging focus area, you take a foundational course in medical imaging. For example, the principles of medical imaging. If you are in the instrumentation focus area, you take a course in instrumentation and devices, and so on. Now I want to circle back to discuss our unique hybrid lab course I mentioned earlier. Formally, it is known as the Biomedical Engineering Practices and Innovation course. We're highlighting this course for you because it's something that really sets our program apart. As you know, we are in the process of moving many of our courses online to accommodate working professionals and family life in and out of the Baltimore area. In addition to these online courses, this lab component offers our students a hands-on lab experience in a condensed course during the summer. We often refer to this as our summer residency course. In this 9-week summer course, students conduct experiments across the 3 main focus areas in ABE: physiology, instrumentation, and tissue engineering. The labs are grouped as to give you the best opportunity to learn. So for example, a physiology lab using frogs is used to investigate the Starling relationship in cardiac mechanics, and this will be paired with an instrumentation lab where students build and implement a basic EKG monitor, and with it can record their own EKG. In another lab, students interact with a robotic prosthetic hand brought in from APL and learn about brain-computer interfaces. Additionally, as part of the residency, our students are exposed to the exemplary clinical faculty with a workshop at Hopkins Hospital and a tour of our excellent facilities for product translation, along with a panel discussion with biotech entrepreneurs. The calendar structure for the residency course is very simple. There are 2 separate 3-day weekends over the summer, with face-to-face portions that happen at the Homewood campus in our labs at JHU and downtown at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. Both these 3-day lab weekends are preceded by 3 weeks each of an online preparatory phase to prep for the labs on campus. So you prepare online for 3 weeks, and then you come over to the Homewood campus for a Friday to Sunday weekend for the labs, and you repeat this once more, totaling 8 weeks of intense lab experience.
All right, let me take over from there. Thanks, Ariel. I hope you guys can hear me. Cheryl has already introduced me, so let me directly jump to the next slide. I want to highlight specifically the opportunity for all ABE students to complete a 1 or 2 semester long research project under the supervision of a scientist mentor of their choice. Each of these semester long research period is equivalent to completing an 800 level course, which is very rigorous, each counting as one of the electives for you, with each being equivalent to 3 credits. So you have an opportunity to gain up to 6 credits through these independent study program. For these project courses, 585.800 and 585.801, students are required to work with both a research mentor and an administrative ABE mentor. Typically, the research mentor will be somebody that the student herself finds and will be from the faculty members at JHU related research institutions of student's choice or local to where student herself comes from. The deliverable for each semester will be a final report, separate for the 2 semesters. For students doing 2 semesters long project, this should be brought to a conclusion with a potential publication after the project. That's what we recommend, although that's not a requirement. For more information, I encourage you to explore these courses home pages linked here at the bottom, and or you can contact me directly for any further questions. I have my email given at the end of this presentation. Note that although we recommend that interested students should enroll in these project courses at the end of their time in the program, we also recommend that they should start thinking about these earlier, for example, after completing the core 4 courses. Next, please. As an exceptionally successful example of such a project completed by a student in the past, let me talk about a recent one by one of our students, Matt Schaefer. Matt Schaefer shown here, his project for redesigning the Ebola protection suit. The project was successful to the level that he obtained some seed funding from US government under the USAID program, US Aid for International Development. It also attracted a lot of press coverage. You can find out more about it simply by Googling JHU Ebola suit. In this project, along with Matt, was a part of JHU team that redesigned the personal protective gear for healthcare workers in Ebola setting. Matt's specific focus was on designing a cooling system which would be integrated into the gear so that the healthcare workers can wear it. Cooling is a major issue for these workers, impacting how long they can care for the patients. Matt spent a whole semester working hand in hand with grad students, fellows, local engineers, and APL staff on this project. The team now looks forward to seeing their efforts move on to the next phase of preclinical testing. So this was about a very successful recent example of a student's research project with the ABE program. Other students have recently participated in similar projects and have had opportunities to file provisional patents, for example, utilizing the openly available free resources and guidance from the tech transfer personnel at JHU. You will also have a chance to explore these opportunities. Next, please. Beyond these, let me quickly mention that there are many pathways to success in the ABE program at Hopkins. We have some on-site courses that run evening or weekend classes at APL, Applied Physics Laboratory in Columbia, Maryland. But more importantly, a growing number of rigorous online courses with some of them running in real-time virtual classes. Now let me quickly highlight some of these courses that we have recently added or will be adding in the near future. We have recently introduced a multi-instructor course in brain-computer interface that we offer every summer from this summer on. This team includes Dr. Polmeyer and Dr. Wester from APL, Dr. Benz from FDA, and me. Dr. Ardekani of BME has introduced a spring course dedicated fully only to MRI imaging. Dr. Smith, our Associate Dean and Director of EP program, has introduced a course in rehab engineering, which is mainly focused on design projects. I'm running a new course on advanced signal processing that I offer every spring, and I'm learning that James will be talking more about it in the end. Dr. Logsdon is teaching a new course based on regulation of medical devices. Dr. Rio has recently introduced a basic math method course from spring 2017 that I think he offers every semester. Next, please. Beyond this, there are many courses in ABE that are moving from on-site to online in future and should be readily accessible to working professionals, giving them a complete flexibility in terms of work-study balance. Here are a couple of examples of such courses which are going to be moved online completely from fall 2018. And finally, the next. For near future, we are also planning some very exciting courses relevant to a modern biomedical engineer. A list is displayed here for you, but I should quickly mention the ones that might excite some of you. For example, Advances in Cardiovascular Medicine by Dr. Torgerson and Dr. Haas, or Biomimetics by Dr. Jimison. I'm myself teaming up with the best local faculty to develop a course on frontiers in neuroengineering. All these new courses should be up and running in the next 2 semesters. Again, I strongly recommend you to take a look at the courses homepages link at ep.jhu.edu. And now, as you know, we have a student on this panel waiting to interact with you and briefly providing you with some insight from a student's perspective. James Brickner has been with us for at least a couple of semesters now, and I would love to now hand it over to him so that he can share his experiences.
Thank you, Dr. Mabate. Those new classes look awesome. I actually, that's the first time I've seen them, and I want to take like 2 or 3 of them already. Anyways, a little bit about me, James Brickner, student. I started this program a little over 2 years ago, and have basically been keeping a pace of 2 to 3 classes a term, which is fairly intensive. Although I've taken as few as like 1, or I've taken like as many, and obviously as many as 3. I think that adds up to maybe 12 or 13 classes so far, even though only like 10 are required. Either way, I've been enjoying this program so much that I keep taking more and more classes, and whenever a new class pops up, I take it. I'll probably hit that 5-year limit with and have like 20 classes done by the time I finish. Next slide. My favorite classes so far have been cell and tissue engineering, advanced signal processing for biomedical engineers, and introduction to brain-computer interface. But like I said, I've taken a lot of classes, and eliminating it down to just 3 for this session was actually really, really difficult. What I like about these classes in particular, not only that all of the professors from them are here right now, but what I like about them in particular is that each of them allowed me, unlike my undergraduate courses, to really apply what I was learning in class to actual problems and actually develop approaches to solving problems. During my time here, I've done everything from investigated full thickness cultured stem cell autologous skin grafts to validating and reproducing signal data related to amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and even going so far as discovering how cool the sci-fi, brain-computer interface technology works. I honestly couldn't be happier with this program, and I mean, they're always new classes, and they're always so interesting and so fun. On another note, this program isn't just about the course materials, but the students that you interact with, that you work with. In one class I took, we had a high school science teacher from Baltimore who was looking to develop a biotechnology program at a school. I'm actually still friends with the guy. And we had an Air Force epidemiologist. I had one class where there was 2 or 3 lawyers, and they were all looking to develop their skills for careers in intellectual property law. But yeah, I mean, every class is different, but I definitely feel that one thing that makes this program special is that it makes better engineers, and it makes better engineers by having so many different backgrounds working together. And so, better engineering outcomes occur when you have a variety of viewpoints all working together with different approaches until you come up with the best possible approach. And it's especially true not just like in regular engineering, but in biomedical engineering as well. So yeah, I could go on, but I think I can summarize by saying I'm very, very happy with the program, and I would probably do it again if the chance came up. The only problem I'm having now is trying to decide which classes to take over the next couple terms, because those new classes look really, really awesome. Thanks for listening.
All right, thank you again, team. Now we'd like to share some information to help you take this next step. Some of the most common questions that our admissions team gets from prospective students is, what is the tuition and what resources are available to help me pay? So here it is. Our current tuition is $4,055 a course. Each of our courses are 3 credits each. So this is the total tuition cost for each 3-credit course. Because our tuition fluctuates every year due to inflation, we encourage students to budget $45,000 total for their degree. This excludes books and materials, which do vary depending on the courses. But they're, in addition to this tuition, you're not paying any fees. So there's no technology fee that you have to pay. There's no student union fee. We do not charge a application fee when you submit your application for admissions. The only fee that students typically pay is a fee when they complete their degree. So at the end of their studies with us, a graduation fee. You have a variety of financing options available to you depending on your personal circumstance. I really encourage you to investigate and to take advantage of any education benefits that your employer may offer. We unfortunately do not have any scholarships available for our online and part-time graduate students, but there are other associations and organizations out there that do. So for example, the National Consortium for Graduate Degrees for Minorities in Engineering, otherwise known as the National GEM Consortium, offers fellowship programs. Rules, requirements, and application instructions can all be found on GEM's website. Just heads up, if you are interested in this fellowship program, the application deadlines for the fellowship program, again, on GEM's website, the deadline is November the 13th. So just please keep that in mind. If you are a U.S. citizen or a qualifying U.S. resident, you may be eligible to use financial aid. The financial aid that is available for graduate students is largely unsubsidized loans. So similar to that, you can, of course, finance your education through a personal loan if you kind of want to shop around for what organization will give you the best interest rate. And if you are active duty or retired military and you have veterans benefits, you can of course utilize these to finance your education. We do have a number of active duty and retired military enrolled in our online and part-time programs. If you are planning on using veterans benefits to finance your education, here's some things to keep in mind. The URL that you see on your screen right now has a lot of really helpful information regarding what forms you need to complete and to submit in order to utilize veterans benefits at Johns Hopkins. Our certifying official here is Nancy Carr, who is just a wonderful person. She's very responsive. She's very helpful and knowledgeable. You can find her contact information just by visiting the URL on your screen. For students who are using Chapter 33 post 9/11 benefits, the Department of Veteran Affairs sets an annual cap on tuition for private schools. That cap is $21,970.46, and that's for an entire academic school year. So it includes fall, spring, summer, and it renews every fall. We just talked about our tuition costs. 5 courses with us would cost you just under the tuition cap, so $20,275. 6 courses would exceed that tuition cap. The cost for 6 courses would be $24,330. Johns Hopkins is a yellow ribbon school. How yellow ribbon works at Johns Hopkins is that it is applied once the tuition cap is exceeded. If it is exceeded, qualifying students receive up to $1,000 per year, and it's awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. If you have been following the news lately, the Harry W. Colmery Veterans Education Assistance Act of 2017, otherwise known as the Forever GI Bill, was signed into law. This law expands on the veterans education benefits offered through Chapter 33 post 9/11 GI Bill. For example, it removes the benefit expiration dates for those who were discharged or released from the military on or after January 1st, 2013. So if this is you, you now have an unlimited amount of time to utilize your veterans education benefits. They do not expire. Very exciting. For more information on the Forever GI Bill, there are additional benefits built into this bill. I encourage you to visit military.com and just search Forever GI Bill. They have some great information on that website. If you are located outside of the US and are interested in studying with us, here are some helpful tips to keep in mind. International students are welcome to study with us from their home country through our online programs. All students who are educated outside of the US do have some additional admissions requirements. Those are that they must submit an international credit evaluation of the credit earned at any non-US institutions. We prefer that they go through WES. For this evaluation, the particular product that you want to ask for is the ICAP. They also have to submit proof of English proficiency via, for example, qualifying scores on a TOEFL exam. On-site students, in order to maintain their F1 visa status, students must enroll full-time, so that means 3 courses per semester, and only one of those 3 courses can be an online class per semester. And they must provide proof of financial support to cover annual living and education expenses. Next steps and important dates. So if you are interested in joining us for this program, your first step is to submit your application for admissions. You can do that by visiting the URL that you see on your screen, ep.jhu.edu/apply. Next, you'll need to submit your academic transcripts and your professional resume. We have rolling admissions here at Johns Hopkins for our online and part-time programs. Typically, it takes 4 to 6 weeks from the time that students submit all of their documentation to when we can issue those students a decision letter. So with that in mind, here are some important dates. Spring registration opens on October the 26th. So that is really just right around the corner. And the spring term actually begins on January 29th. So if you are interested in beginning with us in the spring term, I encourage you to submit your application as soon as possible, ideally well before December 15th. So that is the end of the prepared portion of this presentation. Now I'd like to open it up for some of your questions. Again, we have a great panel for you this evening. If you have any questions for our panelists, simply type them into the questions tab. If you're joining us via a cell phone or a tablet, just select the question mark on the screen in order to access the question tab. Go ahead and type in any questions that you may have. I'll also take this moment to say that team, thank you so very much for joining us this evening. Do you have any kind of like introductory thoughts that you'd like to give our attendees before we start answering questions?
Yeah, I might add one point, which is also a very good incentive. One of the things that you should all notice is that you should all know that as part-time students on Hopkins program, you will also get access to the entire benefits that a typical full-time student gets. So for example, your access to library, all the software that the students get for free. For example, the entire MATLAB suite is available for free, download and install to every student enrolled in Hopkins. That itself is a nearly $42,000 value. So I guess that should be a big incentive.
Wonderful. Thank you, James. All right. Well, why don't we start off by just discussing a little bit more about our online classes. Anil and maybe James, can you talk a little bit about how specifically, kind of generically, how our online classes are structured? How many modules, how assessments are handled, things like that.
Yeah, that's a good question actually. So I have done a lot of development of online courses, and the courses that we teach in spring and fall semesters each are what we call as 14 module courses. Each of these modules run for 1 week. So totally each course is a 14-week course. So for example, the latest fall semester started just last week and will be running through the 2nd week of December. And each week consists of what we call as one module, which is itself basically comprises of attending online lectures, some homework assignments with deadlines and so on. Then there are discussion forums and also an opportunity to interact live with the instructor and the entire class in office hours. So it's not something like Coursera where you can do things on your own schedule. These are literally on-site courses just taken online. So the entire dynamics of the course is very similar to a in-person class, and the how do I say the development, the relationship that I have developed with students, for example, I have found that it's very personal because students keep on writing to me a lot of emails or chat messages and so on and so forth. So that gives you a lot of chance to develop a rapport with the instructor and with the other students.
Wonderful. And these, and you mentioned these kind of lectures. They are they're recorded in these kind of video segments that are chunked, correct, in like 15 or 30-minute chunks, so that they're
Yes.
easy for students to watch.
Yes, so just like this one that we are doing right now, but not in real time, we do video presentations. Each lecture that you will attend during each of these modules will be a maybe maximum 20-minute or so lecture video presentation. Some of them could go a little longer, but then there are 2 or 3 presentations like that during the week for you to attend. And some of these videos have interactive capacity. So, for example, you can answer a few questions or a quick quiz or something like that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. James, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of your experience with the online courses, you know, completing them? How did you fit them into your daily schedule?
Yeah, I mean, typically most people work like a 9-to-5 job or something like that. And the classes you can kind of do the videos like at night or during your lunch break. I usually take notes, so I like to have a desk in front of me. But I mean, I've worked on videos late at night. I've worked at them early in the morning. And same thing with the assignments. You kind of do them whenever you have time, because it's not a set time that you have to be at class. Yeah, I mean, as far as the format is you have like a list of modules, and there'll be one for each week. So the first week you'll have module 1, and you'll go in and you'll click on it, and then there'll be like assigned readings, and they'll have like a kind of a layout for what you have to do that week. And then below that there'll be a little tab, or not a tab, a link for where the lectures are, and then you click on those, you watch the lectures, you come back and do that. Sometimes there's discussion boards. A lot of the interactions that I've had with other students are through the discussion boards, and that's where usually most professors will have like a question for the week that everyone can discuss, and some of the debates it turns into debates, and you get pretty intense like interactions that way. And then as far as interaction goes, office hours there's tons of interaction in office hours. A lot of the professors you can actually see them, and they can see you while you're chatting, or you can type in your questions, or and that really makes it much less of a distance thing and more of like a real life class, because you're actually interacting with the professor in real life, in real time, and that's been really helpful, because you can talk to other students too that way, and I've gotten to know a bunch of students that way. So yeah, yeah, it's good. It's not exactly the same as real life classes, but it's about as close as you can get, I think.
All right, wonderful.
Yeah, I just want to jump in on a couple of things, because James and Anil mentioned some things that reminded me. The courses online courses similar to the in-person courses are, capped at 20 students. So the interaction, there is a lot of interaction between, the similar people, same people. The benefits that James mentioned are, basically push a lot of people that are even local students to move to the online courses just because of the convenience. And yeah, just outside of office hours, which are, usually take place once a week, and the final exam, which is within a certain time window, everything can be done asynchronously, which is of great benefit to those who are working professionals.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Brock. Here's a question from one of our attendees, and it has to do with prerequisite courses. If a student hasn't completed all of the prerequisite courses, what is your recommendation for how to complete them prior to submitting their application?
Okay. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we can both weigh in. So typically, we'll review each of the applications that are close to meeting all the requirements, but maybe missing a few things, and we'll actually engage each of the students or the potential students and discuss with them what courses they're going to need to enroll in the program. And in some cases, it could just be one course in engineering for someone that has a biology degree or a chemistry degree, or conversely, for those who have an engineering degree in, say, electrical or mechanical, that for those students who might be missing a background in biomolecular, biochemistry or molecular, work, there's a course requirement there. We do offer a lot of flexibility in meeting that requirement. And students who are remote can take these classes at local, community colleges or local universities. There are online options available through our program. We allow students to take online options through other programs as well. But typically, we're very, direct in what's required. In some cases, someone's background, like we have medical doctors that, haven't taken biochemistry for a while, but they have the requisite knowledge that would be needed to be successful in the core classes, which is really why we have those requirements. So we'll judge the applicants based on their work experience as well, but we try not to create too many requirements. In some cases, we can provide provisional acceptance and allow students to take some of the classes that don't have these prereqs, but that's a rare exception. But yeah, we work with each of the students based on their situation.
All right, thank you so much, Brock. Next question. While choosing elective courses, are students encouraged to only select classes in one focus area, or is there flexibility there?
Oh, wow. Good question again. So somebody's listening a lot. So anyway, to answer that quickly, the quick answer is no, you don't have to select an elective which is only associated with a focus area. But to back up a little bit, when you enter a program, you will be assigned a advisor for you to personally interact with, and you and your advisor will come together to form some sort of a courses schedule for you, which will be best fitted for you personally in terms of your advancement in your own career goals or whatever future you are planning after the degree. So in that sense, maybe your electives could be from some other areas also. So we don't have a requirement that the electives have to be under a focus area umbrella. And as you can see, biomedical engineering is a very interdisciplinary science. So we don't have electives, separate electives for each focus area, and students can take only those. No, we have a whole spectrum of electives, and any students in principle can take those.
All right.
Yeah, Neil makes a couple good points. The catalog does actually provide recommended courses based on a particular focus area, but yeah, as Neil mentioned, it's quite open and flexible. And then of course, as Ariel showed in her presentation, we have elective options at the JHU, and of course, any EP student can take courses in other EP programs. We have, many programs in, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, systems engineering. And so if there are classes that interest students in those other areas, that those can count as well. Obviously, the students still have to meet the requirements for the degree, which, includes having taken 4 600 level classes. But yeah, there's a lot of flexibility.
All right, wonderful. We have a couple more minutes here, so if anyone has some additional questions that they'd like the panel to answer, just go ahead and type them into the questions tab, and we'll have them answered before we wrap up. Another question that we get frequently is, can I get a copy of the presentation from this evening? Yes, you can. We are recording this evening's presentation, and I will send it to you via email within the next couple of days. So in case that was a question, in case you wanted to kind of refer back to it as you're making this decision, you will have it in your email box in the next couple of days. Not a problem. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, following this presentation, we will be sending you out a survey regarding the event. I do encourage you to fill it out. It's a very short survey, but your feedback will really help us when we plan for our next batch of information sessions that happen in the spring. And we are always looking for feedback regarding how to best engage with prospective students like yourself. So please just take a couple minutes and fill that out and hit submit. One more, here's another question. Going forward, who should be contacted for additional questions?
Oh, that answer is on the screen. So Brock Wester, me, and Eileen Haas are available almost always, to answer emails or phone calls. Especially, I would prefer if you contact me, because Brock has his other day job, and so does Eileen.
Sure. All right, next question. Does JHU offer virtual lab access for programs that require high computer performance, such as ComSol?
I'm not exactly sure what the question means, but if you're asking something like an access to a supercomputer, the answer is again yes. The only thing is there is a protocol to do that. For example, if you're doing a project, say in fluid dynamics or something that requires a lot of computational power, then Hopkins, as one of the benefits to the students, gives access to a supercomputing facility, although you have to book a slot and pay a little fee, which is nominal actually, and something like that. But yes, the short answer is yes. You have a chance to work on a high power computer.
Yeah. In addition to that, there are a couple classes in the electrical engineering program that allow students to interact with circuit boards remotely, so that they can test their model designs on actual physical hardware. And it's a little different than getting access to a cluster or a compute node, in which which might allow you to run, crunch some numbers. But it's kind of a unique capability. And then of course, with our BEPI course, you guys are going to get plenty of hands-on experience with real equipment as part of that class.
All right, team. Well, the time is 8:01 p.m. Eastern. I think that about completes that was our last question for the evening. Team, thank you again for your presentation this evening. Thank you for all of this really great information and for answering our questions. We greatly appreciate your time. And also, I want to thank all of you for joining us this evening and for all of your great questions. Like we said, if anybody has any follow-up questions, Anil and Brock's email addresses are on the screen right now. Please feel free to email them. You can, of course, also email me, cheryl.williams@jhu.edu, and I can also forward your questions on to Anil and Brock. So in short, thank you everyone for joining us this evening, and we look forward to reviewing your applications.